afternoon all. This is the reaction video post the game last night, obviously. Currently on my way up long. Anyone from Cornwall, if there is anyone from Cornwall watching this, will know what I mean. Venturing up long for a wedding prep. I'm obviously not going to the wedding dressed like this. Wedding's tomorrow. But anyway, what a result. Newcastle United 4, Brighton and Hove Albion 1 at St James's Park. Wow, what a result, and in the main, what a performance by the lads. In the last video, it was obviously the post-Leeds draw, but I spoke about our 4 remaining games, obviously Leeds away, Brighton at home, Leicester at home and Chelsea away, and I was looking at focusing on 2 main variables, i.e. the 2 factors which I was focusing on in terms of rating the difficulty of those 4 remaining fixtures. And those 2 variables or factors were the location of the game, i.e. home or away, and the motivation of the opposition. Leeds I put at the top of the list because not only was it away from home at Ellen Road, they're obviously scrapping for their lives. Now Leicester and Brighton I would put on a sort of an even keel, and then Chelsea with nothing really to play for, although it is away from home. Leicester and Brighton, the 2 home games, one team pushing for Europe, the other team scrapping for their Premier League survival. So you could argue that Leicester have got more motivation. However, you've also got to bring in the 3rd variable, is the quality of the 2 sides, and Brighton edge it in that regard. So we started the game on 66 points. Obviously we were slightly ahead of Manchester United. They pulled level with us after we dropped points away at Leeds. I'm pretty sure it was the exact same starting lineup. We saw Isaac and Wilson start together. I'll go through the 11 now. Nick Pope in goal, obviously number 22. I'm not going to do numbers for all of them, I don't know why I did that. Dan Burn left back, Sven Botman left-sided centre half, Fabian Schär right-sided centre half, Trippier right back, captain, a 3-man midfield of Joe Linton, Bruno and Joe Willock. In terms of on paper quality and technical ability with the ball, that's probably our best 3-man midfield. Obviously Sean Longstaff, as I said in the last video, his stock has never been higher, and he's not even on the pitch because of his fitness, his tactical awareness and his strategic quality to our team. But those are probably our best 3 out-and-out midfield players. Then you had a front 3 of Isaac on the left. A lot of people say Isaac, but I saw him talking about himself the other day and he referred to himself as Isaac, so I'm going to go with that. It sounds weird, I've saying Isaac for so long. Isaac on the left, Miggy Almiron on the right. Great to see him playing a bit better now after his injury, and Callum Wilson in the centre forward position, obviously at number 9 in a hot vein of form. What a start. The entire first half, to be honest, we were on the front foot. That high pressing style of ours, that the intensity, the closing down. We know Brighton are a team that love to play out for the back. They're probably one of the better teams in the league. I would say they're up there with Arsenal and City in terms of their quality and ability to play out from the back. It's not something we do all that often. I think we are capable, but we are not a playing out from the back team. Oh, shit, gear there. A la Barcelona of the Pep era, or the Man City of the Pep era, and this current Arsenal squad. That's not our strength. But we knew that they would not deviate from that. So the more they played out from the back, the more we pressed them. We targeted one of their centre backs, I forget his name now, John Paul Van Tweek or Teek or something like that. I do apologise, I've got that name wrong. But the ginger centre back, I believe he was a ginger guy. We targeted him. We let him have the ball more. We sort of, I say we targeted him. We did in the sense that when Lewis Dunk got the ball, it was full board closing down. When Van Teek had the ball, I'm just going to go with Van Teek. It was more let him play because he was the more nervous. So we targeted him in that sense of he was the centre back who we allowed more time on the ball, and more often than not, problems for Brighton came off the back of that. Obviously, they didn't start their strongest squad team. Caicedo was at right back. I know, obviously, he's a midfield player. I didn't see what all the fuss was about him during this game. Obviously, I've not watched Brighton religiously. I've only seen them on Match of the Day and in our second game of the season away at their place. But I didn't think he was all that great. Obviously, he had something to offer when he was moved into midfield later on. But McAllister was on the bench. The young Paraguayan lad, who Miggy Almiron had a right fallout with, but they made up at the end. It was good to see. I forget his name now. He was on the bench. He was one of their big guns that they brought on as well. But yeah, we pressed them. Excuse me. We pressed them. We didn't allow them play. We didn't afford them time to play in the areas that they usually like to. We let them. Oh shit! What am I doing? Sorry, I'm trying to get some aircon in the car, but that's too much. We gave the players who we wanted to have the ball time to play, the ones who could cause us damage, cause us problems. Matoma, Caicedo from right back, and Pascal Gross, for example. We harried them, hassled them, and we were on them. We probably should have scored, I reckon, 2, maybe 3 from open play, and that wasn't like glaring misses or anything like that in the first half. It was just a fantastic block by Lewis Dunk or a great save from the goalkeeper. All in all, we didn't have a lot to do defensively. Nick Pope had a very quiet first half. He had a couple of shots sort of driven at him, which he went to catch, and he would parry them down almost like a basketball dribble to then run out to the edge of the box and redistribute. I've noticed he does that a lot, and I really like that. But he commanded his box well. But all in all, it was overwhelming in Newcastle first half. Kieran Trippier, wow, he got the man of the match, or the player of the match, as we say in the 21st century now. Wow, fabulous performance. He's been one of the players, one of our bigger players, who has been below par recently. I'm looking at Trips, I'm looking at the likes of Bruno, and I'm looking at Sven Botman possibly. We'll get to a little error made by Botman later in the game. We'll get to that later on in the video. But I thought all game, for the whole 98 minutes or whatever was played, Kieran Trippier was sensational. Matoma is one of the most talked about of the Brighton attackers, who a player who's made such an impact, who's looked full of quality at times in this season. You know, I remember, I think it was a goal against Liverpool, if I remember rightly, where you're like, wow, who the hell is this kid or this guy? Nothing yesterday. Trippier sorted him out. When Matoma got the ball and went to run at Trippier, he'd tackle him. When the ball was coming to Matoma, Trippier would intercept. He harried him out of play. He showed him down the side. He didn't let him do an awful lot, and that was fabulous to see Trippier back at his peak, at his best. And when we mention Trippier's good performance, we have to highlight his distribution, or his delivery from set plays. It's been fabulous all season. It was interesting to see Dan Burn and Trippier both mention a couple of times each probably that they need to score more from set plays. And I think that is indicative of the quality that they know is coming in Kieran Trippier. Dan Burn obviously got on the score sheet from a header. A guy his size should be scoring more headers. There's no two ways about it. He said so himself in the post-match interview. But the quality, the first goal was an own goal. I forget it. I think it was their centre forward, Davida or something like that. He scored later on for them. The camera straight away went to Caicedo, but it wasn't. It was a fabulously struck in-swinging corner from Kieran Trippier, and he was doing that all game, putting those whipped balls into the box that were causing a problem. Every time that ball came in, it was whipped into the danger zone, and it wasn't just the area the ball was put into, it was the quality and the pace of the ball. It was causing errors, causing problems for Brighton all day. So we take the lead, a lead that we very much deserved. I think Isaac had a chance he should have done better with. I think he struck it from just outside the box and it sort of spiraled out of control. Bruno had a couple of shots, but I think they were in the second half. Joe Linton had a decent chance where it was a fantastic block by Lewis Dunk, who is a sensational defender. He's very, very good. Very impressed with him every time I see him play. Dan Burn had a chance with his feet where he sort of did a nice turn in the box onto his left foot, and he just couldn't wrap his foot around the ball enough to bring it across. But let's not make any mistake about it. We were good for our lead. I think Joe Willock might have had a chance early on. That first half went by so quickly because we were just, the pace, the intensity of our play was breathtaking at times. It wasn't the chaos and fluid penetrative football that we saw rendered Tottenham pretty much useless. Don't you love that when someone just completely pulls out on you and then puts their hand up to say thank you? So, well, what did you expect me to do? Let you fucking go into the side of me? Stupid cow. Cutting across 3 lanes at a roundabout as well. Brilliant. Anyway, it wasn't the madness of the Tottenham result that saw us 5-0 up in 22 minutes, but we were good for it. We were intense, and it's that word intensity that is just stitched into every sinew of our play when we're playing well, and it is breathtaking. As I've said, it is frightening for the opposition, and it is just fantastic to watch. So the second goal comes. There was a free kick wide right that took an age to be taken because Joe Linton and Bruno at various set plays in the first half giving it that, gobbing off, taking issue with Brighton players, sticking up for themselves, sticking up for their teammates, no doubt. But I put on one of the Facebook pages at half time, fabulous performance, that someone needs to have a word with the Brazilian lads and calm them down, because Bruno was booked very early on. As the commentator said, quite rightly I suppose, Bruno was gesturing, oh, it's my first foul, it's my first foul. I would like it to be a case of you get your first one for free unless it is very, very dangerous, or a handball, like an obvious handball or something like that. However, like the commentator said, it doesn't matter if it's your first foul or your fifth. If it's bad enough to be booked, you're bad enough to be booked. So that's that. So Bruno had to be careful because he was on a yellow card. But it took an age to be taken. Fabian Schär was arguing with one of their players. In the end, Kieran Trippier whips it in, and it is one of the best wide right free kick set piece that's a mouthful. Wide right free kick set piece deliveries that you have ever seen. Absolutely perfect. I initially thought it was Sven Botman at the back post, and I was just jumping up and down thinking, yes, Botman's finally got a goal, because you know he's got everything else to his game. Excuse me. He just needs to contribute in terms of the odd goal, 2 or 3 a season, and then he is the complete centre back. But no, it's Dan Burn with his first goal in the league for his boyhood club against the team we bought him from. Fantastic free kick. And Dan Burn, when you think of Dan Burn heading the ball, you think that he'd be attacking it, you know, really giving it some neck muscle. But he doesn't. He just guides it. He just directs it perfectly. It's coming in perfectly. He directs it back across goal, right down low into the bottom corner. One of the most satisfying goals of the season for us, in my humble opinion. Well, for me as a fan watching it. Fantastic. Lovely. So we go into half-time 2-0 up. And I believe that goal was right before half-time, which anyone who's ever watched football for any amount of time will know that that is one of the best times to score. Obviously, to win the game, the best time to score is the last minute, because there's nothing like it. But one of the best times to score would be right before half-time. Brighton was starting to not take over, but they were growing into the game a little bit, and then we just bang, back in your box, back in your place. Similarly, what they did to us in the second half. So you're thinking, right, are there going to be changes aplenty? Is the likes of McAllister and the young Paraguayan lad, are they going to come on? But no, Roberto De Zerbi trusts in his starting 11. I imagine he says to them, right, I'm going to give you 10-15 minutes to fucking sort yourselves out, butt your ideas up. If you don't, you'll be coming off. Brighton improve. That second, the majority of the second half, or I would say a good 25 minutes, good 20-25 minutes, was the Brighton we've seen all season, and the reason they're up, well, they're pushing for Europe. Great football, composure. They were still determined to play out from the back. We were still pressing them and giving them problems, making some of the defenders and midfielders think twice about taking the ball or giving the ball in certain areas. But they were much improved, and we have a chance in the 54th minute. The ball goes in. I forget who clips the ball in. Oh yeah, that's right. It's wide left, almost by the corner flag. Dan Burn manages somehow to keep the ball in play, and not just keeps the ball in play, floats. When I say floats, it's a lovely floated but with pace, left-footed cross into the area. I believe it's Joe Willock who heads it over towards the back post, and who's there? Miggy Almiron, and you're thinking, yes, Miggy, you can't miss. It's not an open goal. It's not the easiest chance in the world because it comes out in fast. It's on the volley, but it's on his favoured left foot. And with the form he's been in front of goal at times this season, you favour him to take that chance. The goalkeeper, I can't remember his name. I got to start researching opposition players' names before I do these videos. But the goalkeeper is rushing across the goal, and to be fair to him, great save. He saves the ball. It shoots out. It ends on the forehead of Callum Wilson, and it comes at him so quick you can't head it down. Because if he headed it down, it's a certain goal. It's an open net essentially, because the goalkeepers had to come all the way to his far post to save the Almiron volley. And you're thinking, it's all right. A third goal is coming straight away. Brighton playing through the lines. Billy Gilmore, who was once very, very, very highly rated as a youngster at Chelsea. You could see why, in terms of yesterday's game, he had some nice moments, some good touches, some good passes. This was the best of the lot for him. Midfield, Bruno, Joe Linton and Willock sort of sit off him, and he's got time and space, and their striker who scored the own goal, Navida, I'm going to say, I don't know his name, makes a beautiful run. And for some reason, Sven Botman has stepped forward to go with one of their attacking midfield players. There's a gap. The centre-backs aren't in line. Cher is ball watching and not watching the runner. Beautiful pass through the midfield. He's through on goal. I fancied Cher to make it more difficult for him. I was like, it's right, Fabian's got him. He's going to make a recovery tackle. This guy's obviously got some strength and some pace about him. Or did Fabian not do as well as he could? I don't know. I will give Fabian the benefit of the doubt and say the striker had a bit too much for him, but he shouldn't have been watching the ball so obviously. He should have had an understanding and an awareness of the position of the striker, because as a centre back, that's your job. Goes in on goal, great finish. Nick Pope will probably be disappointed in himself with his own high standards, but it was a striker through one-on-one with not too much time, but enough time to pick his spot, and he smashed it in the goal. You're thinking, oh god, nervous. It was a right kick in the teeth. I mentioned earlier about us scoring right before half time against right before half time, and how that was it sort of quelled the small whispers of a fight back from Brighton. This one, we've just missed a good chance to make it 3-0 and essentially kill the game. And then they go up and score. It's like, oh god, it's a double whammy that. For the next 20 odd minutes, it's very, very nerve-wracking. Excuse me, very nerve-wracking. McAllister, etc. come on. The Paraguayan lad comes on. I've got to remember his name, so he looked very good. Despite having a set to with Miggy about I don't know what, he was some great runs. Remember once he went past Bruno and Joe Linton in midfield. He looked like he went past them easily, and set them up on an attack that ultimately bore no fruit. Disappointments, right? Joe Willock, I would say that's his season over. He accelerates past somebody, or he accelerates to latch onto a loose ball, and straight away he pulls up, grabs his leg, and he's just straight away to the bench, off. And Joe Willock is not the character to feel a bit of pain and just call it a day. You know, this is a high pressure game. He's one of our best players. It's a high stakes affair, a game where we need somebody like him with his pace, with his drive and his running ability, his ball carrying ability. But yeah, and he's in absolute agony, bless him. It's a pulled hammy, it's something like that, and I would say that's his season done. And with Bruno playing on one leg at the minute, Joe Linton going down a couple of times with knocks, all of a sudden our midfield looks very light, with Sean Longstaff already injured. So Willock comes off, gutted to see him injured, because like I said, that's him for the season now, when we desperately need him in the 2 remaining games, especially the Leicester game. Elliot Anderson comes on, and on the whole does well. He doesn't do anything spectacular, but he doesn't do anything bad. He collects the ball, gives the ball, collects the ball, gives the ball, harries them, makes a few good tackles, and doesn't light the world up, but doesn't look out of place. So for a 20-25 minute cameo, whatever it was, that will give Eddie some reassurance, knowing that he's probably going to have to start him on Monday. What else? Well, then comes the breakthrough. Trippier intercepts the ball in the right back position, and very much in the right back position, gives the ball. Gives the ball to Miggy. Miggy goes on a run. Leaves the left back for dead. You know, knocks the ball past him, accelerates past him, shrugs him off, leaves him for dead. Plays a perfect through ball for Callum Wilson. And it's one of these that I mentioned earlier about strikers having too much time. It was right on the borderline where any other striker at the minute, not any other striker, but bar probably Harry Kane and Haaland, and maybe Isaac, because I just rate him that highly, you perhaps think Christ has got too much time. And he was a little bit on the right hand side, so for a right footed player, not as ideal as a central position or on the left. But he does not fuck about. 1 touch, 2 touch, doesn't mess around, takes it, you would say, relatively early, but tucks it in lovely. Beautiful, beautiful goal. And that, I think that was with 8-9 minutes remaining, and it's like, oh, relief. We have at this point I was crying out for subs to be made. I was like, it makes sense. Gordon on for Miggy, Maxi on for Isaac. Still doesn't happen. But then I'm like, right, Eddie obviously knew something I didn't. 4th goal, Wilson gets released on down the left again, left side of the box. He's got too much strength. He's a strong bloke, strong guy, quick. Deals with Lewis Dunk, turns back inside, could probably take another touch, engineer more of an angle and have a good strike, and probably score his 2nd goal. He doesn't. He lays it on a plate for Bruno Guimaraes, who's arriving late, bang, smashed into an empty net. Thank you very much. Bruno gets up on the advertising boards, puts the fingers in his ears. I don't know what that's about. I know he does it a lot. To me, fingers in his ears is saying he doesn't want to hear the crowd. I know he's probably got a little bit of criticism recently, but he's a fan favourite. He never gets booed at St James's Park, and he probably never will be. Celebrates, pointing at the badge, geeing the crowd right up, and it's just the moment. And then you saw there's elevated celebrations on the pitch. The lads knew that was such an important game, such a big moment for the team. Wilson has another chance later on where, very similar to his goal, from a similar position, and he goes to that sort of bottom right hand corner, and the goalkeeper reads him. Perhaps a little bit too telegraphed or obvious with this shot selection. But then, yeah, so it could have been 5-1, could have been 3 or 4-0 at half time. Brighton, despite not being crap, they were below par. But I will subscribe to the view that they were below par, because we didn't allow them to play to their full ability, capacity, potential, whatever you want to call it. We stifled them, we stopped them, and when we had our chances in that second half, we took them. Callum Wilson, that's his 18th goal of the season. Now, bar Harry Kane, and I know Ivan Toney's just above on 19. You look back the last, say, 6-7 years. We go back to Euro 16. How many English players have got 18 league goals in the season? Bar Harry Kane and Toney this season. Can you think of any? I don't think Rooney was posting those numbers at that stage in his career. You know, it's fantastic, and his form, I think he's got 11 goals since the 1st of April. Unbelievable. And that's the reason why he and Isak are playing together, because at one point in the season, Isak was doing the business, Callum Wilson wasn't not trusted from the start, but he was coming off the bench and getting a goal or setting somebody up. But Isak was the starting number 9. Now you have to try and shoehorn Isak in somehow because of his quality. But Callum Wilson's the number 9. Not only has he got it on the back of his shirt, he is that man. Fantastic performance. As I've said, disappointing. So yeah, in the end, Maxi, Gordon come on, Mankia for Isak and Miggy as predicted or hoped for. And Manquillo come on for Trips, and Matt Target came on for, I believe it's Joe Linton. I think Matt Target went into midfield actually for the final couple of minutes. What a win. In terms of motivation and quality, if you mix those two factors together, our toughest opponent, the third factor being locations, James Park was always going to be favourite for us. But wow, what a performance, what a result. Great to see Wilson score, lovely to see Dan Burn get a goal. The own goal, you never want to see anyone score an own goal, but I'll take that all day long if it's going to benefit Newcastle. And then Bruno Guimaraes, who hasn't scored for a while, lovely to see him get a goal too. Wow, we're now in that position, 69 points. If we win against Leicester, we're in the Champions League. Forget 3rd or 4th place. Are we going to finish 3rd or are we going to finish 4th? If we win against Leicester, the worst we can finish is 4th. Champions League qualification in the first full season. Fantastic. I'm going to have to go because I've got a phone call coming through. But thank you for watching. Can't wait to hopefully speak to you Tuesday morning after another win at St James's Park against Leicester. Please like, comment, share and subscribe. Thank you for watching.